So when we actually look at really good brands, like, Ramsey Solutions, Dave Ramsey has institutionalized the story brand framework at every level of his company. And there's really only one thing that Dave Ramsey sells. He sells financial peace. Now, what's amazing, he sells financial peace to entrepreneurs. He sells financial peace to soccer moms. He sells financial peace to pastors and religious leaders.
Right.
He sells financial peace through buying real estate. He sells financial peace. But he's able to have all that complication under the house of one thing, financial peace. That's what the overall plot of an interaction with Dave Ramsey is about. Now, because he's kept it that simple and sort of couched all the complication of his offering under such a simple narrative, there are hundreds of thousands of financial advisors in the country. Thousands of them have written books. Hundreds of them have podcasts or radio shows, but we all know about one. We know about the one who kept it simple. They kept the narrative very simple. So what that means for you and your audience is we need to identify the one thing that we offer, that we can differentiate ourselves and say, if you want this one thing, you have to come from us. And that takes a little bit of work. You burn a little bit of calories processing what is the one thing I want to offer. But if you actually burn calories clarifying your message, that means your customer doesn't have to burn any calories to understand it. And that's how you're going to win, when you make it very easy for them to understand your offer. So the first thing is you have a character that wants something. We got to define something the character wants. Then the second thing is there has to be a problem. Every story is really about a problem. And so it's about somebody trying to resolve a problem and have a happy ending. And what that teaches us is, as soon as you resolve the problem in a story, the story is over. So if Liam Neeson is on an airplane and he's flying over to London to rescue his daughter, and he gets a call and the police station says, look, your daughter was kidnapped, but Liam, you wouldn't believe it. It was a college prank. She's actually fine. There's nothing wrong. And she's really looking forward to seeing you. And then it's 90 minutes of Liam Neeson taking his daughter shopping and talking about the audience is going, wait a second, this movie doesn't make any sense and it should be over. Like, shouldn't you be rolling the credits? Because you resolved the problem. The story is over. So the big paradigm shift for us in business is when you stop talking about your customer's problem, they stop doing business with you. The only reason that they're going to your website or calling your sales reps or answering your email is because you can help them resolve a problem. In fact, I've given a lot of speeches in my day, and I realized that I give a much better speech. The audience is much more involved in what I'm saying. If I don't go to the middle of the stage and say, hey, I'm Donald Miller, and I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have a beautiful wife named Betsy, and we have a dog named Lucy. But if I actually walk in the middle of the stage, don't even say my name, and I just say, I'm here because we have a serious problem. Our marketing isn't working. It's a waste of money. Now, how do we fix it? Everybody leans in.
Oh, so good.
Until you get to the problem, who cares?
Yes.
And so we need to understand that when we write email copy, when we write, I had some people do an exercise recently. I said, print out your website on paper, take a red pen and circle every time you mention your customer's problem on your website. And you wouldn't believe how many people just didn't talk about it. They talked about all about themselves, about their grandfather started the company, how great their company is, and blah, blah, blah. And that's not a hook. That's not a story hook. So we have to talk about a problem. And then this, Amy, as you know, this is the biggest paradigm shift in the whole narrative and the whole story brand framework. You identify what the character wants, you identify the problem they're trying to resolve, and then you can enter their story. But you want to enter their story as the guide. And the guide is a character that has been entering stories for thousands of years. It's a character that exists only to help the hero win the day. So Yoda was Luke Skywalker's guide. Lionel was King George's guide in The King's Speech. Jonah Hill's character was Billy Bean's guide in Moneyball. Haymitch was Katniss's guide. You always want to play the guide in your customer story, and you never want to play the hero. It's super important. The two reasons you never want to play the hero are, one, if you play the hero, you are removing yourself from your customer story. If I position myself as a hero, and I'm talking all the time about how great StoryBrand is, people think, well, man, Don's a hero, and I'm a hero too, which means we're in different stories. I didn't enter into their story at all. I may have gotten them very interested in my story, but I didn't enter into their story. They're not going to do business with me. And the next reason you don't want to play the guide is because, the hero, is because the hero is the weakest character in the story. The hero is ill-equipped, afraid, unwilling to take action, in need of help, desperately looking for a guide. Why would you ever want to position your brand as such a weak character? The guide, on the other hand, is strong. They've already conquered the hero's demon. They know how to help the hero win. They have a plan. The guide is the leader in the story, and you want to be the leader. So never play the hero, always play the guide. And the stakes are enormous. Think about Hillary Clinton losing this campaign. Biggest political upset maybe in American history, certainly in modern American history. What was her tagline? I'm with her. She's the hero. And she loses the election.
Oh.
John McCain, war hero, lost the election. Bob Dole, war hero, lost the election. You see the parallels there?
I definitely do.
Yeah, they honor heroes and they love heroes, but the heroes in their own story. They're not in my story.
Okay, so I know you have more on the framework, but this is a big one that my students really need to understand. So give me an example of a classic mistake that they might not even realize they're doing, where they're actually playing the hero when they need to be playing the guide.
You know, I'll just pick on a giant brand. Chevy runs ads all the time saying we've won the J.D. Power and Award Associates or J.D. Power and Associates Awards, and we've all seen those commercials. That's basically Chevy getting up and saying we're the hero, we're the hero, we're the hero.
Okay.
But what if Chevy actually ran this a very similar ad and instead said, you know, we care about safety so much, and we care about your family so much, and we care about you pulling into your driveway safe. We've made such incredible safety modifications on our cars. The J.D. Power actually gave us an award for serving you.
Okay.
One is bragging about myself, and the other is actually saying the story is really about you getting home safe. And that's what our whole thing is about. We just want to help you win.
Okay.